Hey everybody! Hey! How are you doing tonight, today, whenever you are watching? Thank you so much for joining us again for another Friday with KB Michelle Green, credit and financial tips. That's right, with me, yours truly. Thank you so much for watching today. We are super excited for what we are going to be talking about today. Is going to be a topic that we all have probably experienced at some point in time or another. But before we get into today's topic on no shortcuts to strong credit, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get you to subscribe. That's what we're going to do. We want to make sure that you are subscribed to Kingdom Builders Credit Repair YouTube channel and podcast. That's the KBCR podcast and TV show here on YouTube. So we want to make sure that you are locked in, that you are making sure that you are sharing this with a friend or family member, with a coworker, with anybody that has any issues with credit or with their finances, because that's what this show is all about. And what do we do here is we educate you, we strategize actual designs and actual plans so that we can direct you into the right direction for making sure that your credit and finances are on point. That's what we do. And we also want to specify that we are streaming throughout this earth with CTR Media Network. That is the network that we are on. We stream through CTR Media Network. And CTR Media Network, let me tell you a little something about them. They have 3.6 plus billion viewers all over the globe in over 140 plus countries. So if you are trying to get yourself seen and heard in these social media streets, or just in general, just putting yourself out there in the media limelight, then you need to go over to ctrmedianetwork.com and get connected. That's what you need to do. Listen, if you are interested in getting your credit fixed, if you are interested in getting your business aligned, if you are interested in getting into your finances and digging into the nitty gritty so that you can accrue wealth, then listen, you need to come on over to Kingdom Builders Credit Repair right now. Go to the website and make sure that after you watch this video, after you watch this message, that you connect with us. Let's collaborate, let's connect, let's network, let's find out what we can do to help you, because that's what we do here. We help you with your credit, not just helping you with your credit, but we help strategize your personal credit structure to make sure that you have that 700 and 800 credit score. That's what we do. In addition to that, what do? We help you with making sure that you get your finances together. That's right. We teach you about how to structure your taxes. Everybody's going around right now talking about tax season and all these different things, but tax season is all year long, if you ask me, and making sure that you got your stuff aligned so that you are always prepared for your finances. So what do here? We teach you how to strategize your finances, how to strategize your credit. We teach you how to build your credit. We show you what things you should do and shouldn't do as it relates to credit all the way around. So there isn't anything that we don't do here at KBCR. That's right. Kingdom Builders Credit Repair houses so many different opportunities for you to excel with your credit and with your finances. So let's get into today's topic. I know you're like wondering, like, what is she going to be talking about today? Well, normally when it comes to me coming on and talking to you all about credit and financial tips, it usually pertains to something that I have experience in. Plus, I've been doing this over 30 plus years. So we have hundreds and thousands of clients that we talk to every single day about these subject matters. So talk about professionalism. Yes, professionalism is here. All right. But the thing that I want to say is that a lot of our experiences would not even exist if it were not for you, our client, if it were not for you, our viewers, if it were not for you, the people that we are connected to. So I just want to give a thank you I just want to give a shout out to you and say thank you right now for just being who you are and giving us these different scenarios so that we can be experts at this actual industry in this field of credit and finances. Because if it weren't for you, then we would only have a small amount of information. And we just thank each and every one of you for watching, for viewing, for participating, for being a part of our masterclass. We have this new Financial Dominion Masterclass that is the official Financial Dominion Masterclass that just started on February the 18th, but we still have openings for people to come into that class. And we also help you with credit and getting your credit built up to a 7 and 800 credit score. I just want to thank each and every person that has anything to do with Kingdom Builders Credit Repair right now. I'm just feeling the gratitude. I'm just having the attitude of gratitude. And I just want to say thank you for being who you are and allowing us to experience this life journey with you so that we can go through this thing together and win every time. That's right. We win, we win, we win every time. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So let's get into today's topic. It is about no shortcuts to strong credit. When we talk about no shortcuts to strong credit, why are there so many of us that are trying to cut corners as it relates to our credit, as it relates to our finances? And what kind of shortcuts am I referring to be honest? Well, let's talk about it. Whenever we first start out with learning about we need to go get a job so that we can earn a living, so that we can get some credit and buy the things that we really want to buy. It really is going to be dependent upon our outcome with credit, and our outcome with finances will only be dependent upon how we first started out learning about finances, learning about credit, learning about the things that are challenges in our life right now, and learning a system that is really not necessarily the right system that we should have learned. So, as I was thinking about this week, and all of the different appointments that I had with every client and the different experiences that I've had talking to everybody that I've talked to this week, what I noticed is there is a thread among us who seem to believe that taking a shortcut to credit, taking a shortcut to our finances is the only solution to many of us. But the truth of the matter is, when we take a shortcut, what happens is it doesn't really allow us to get ahead. It really puts us back farther than we believe, farther than we are assuming that the shortcut is going to catapult us forward when it's actually going to keep us even further back behind the eight ball. When I say behind the eight ball, I'm referring to the fact that these systems, these shortcuts, these mindsets do not work. So are you a person who learned from the beginning when you first start earning a living, when you got your first job or your second job or your third job or your fourth job or your fifth job or whatever, however many jobs you had, or you open up your first business, your second business, your third business, your fourth business, your fifth business, and no matter how many businesses you've had, no matter if you are a business owner, no matter if you are an employee, if you're self-employed, if you are an investor and you have multiple businesses and you help other companies, no matter what level of finances and credit that you are on, what I have learned is that it all starts at the beginning foundation. So, what was your beginning foundation of learning about credit and finances? What was the first experience that you had about how to manage your money? What was the first experience that you had about how to obtain credit? See, all of these things are so crucial to the success of your finances and your credit right now. And it's only based on what you have learned and the new information that you're putting in your mind right now today so that you can change what was and make it better. That's what this is all about, honestly, y'all. Like, it's not really rocket science as it relates to income, as it relates to finances, and as it relates to credit. The bottom line is that so many of us have been led to believe the wrong thing. And so many of us have this thread among us that no matter how much money we make, we might still have the shortcut mentality. So, the shortcut mentality, let's just start out by first talking about what credit is. Credit is your ability to be able to go borrow more money than what you have currently. So, if you are working for the first time or you're working for the hundredth time and you are earning a living so that you can take care of yourself and you can take care of those who are a part of your family or even those that are maybe even in your community, you have a responsibility to first yourself, then your family, and then everyone else. So, for those of us who are trying to focus on giving and having credit and getting into debt for our friends and for people that are outside of our family, I want us to really begin to go back and think about our foundation. Even if we come from a family where we had the wrong concepts, if we learned the wrong skills, gifts, and talents around income, around making money, around earning a living, around taking care of ourselves, around actually obtaining credit and having and maintaining high credit scores, we still have an obligation after we learn how to take care of ourselves to take care of our families, y'all. We have to take care of our families. Now, am I saying that you should just pour everything into your family? No, I'm not saying that. You do need to understand that there is a order about this whole thing. And the order is that you got to take care of yourself. Are you in a position financially to take care of yourself right now? Do you earn enough money to actually solidify all of your basic living needs? So when it relates to credit, if you don't have enough income, then you will borrow the money from a lending institution. And that institution can be any company, any bank, financial institution that is willing to allow you to borrow a little bit of money, a medium sized amount of money, or a large amount of money, depending on your credit score. And your credit score is the foundation, is based on your credibility. So, what your credibility stands for is what are the skills, the gifts, talents that you have learned around finances. So, what is your foundation? Is your foundation stabilized off of what? Is it stabilized off of a shortcut? Is it stabilized off of the fact that everything that you learned, everything that you knew, and all the people that you were around in your neighborhood, in your community, and even as you grew and maybe you moved and changed to another city, another state, even another nation, that that allowed you to grow, but does it mean that you still have the foundational root issue of not understanding that you never got to a point where you learned how to properly care for yourself with your own income before you decided to take care of someone else? See, how much money does it really take in order for you to live? How much money does it really take in order for you to get the things that you basically need? So let's talk about some basics. What are some basic things that you need in order for you to take care of yourself? Okay, we know we gotta have rest, so we gotta have a place to live. We have to have clothes, we have to have shoes, we have to have the food. So, what are the things that you basically need to take care of yourself? And are you making enough money to take care of yourself without taking a shortcut? When I say taking a shortcut, let's think about the shortcuts that we take. Sometimes we take shortcuts by depending on somebody else to fulfill our income needs. Sometimes we take a shortcut by trying to get over on the banks or the credit unions or the people who do lend us the money, and we end up ruining our reputation. So when we think about this original state of being of taking care of ourselves, we got to really realize and write down and strategize this plan of how well have we really taken care of ourselves over the years. Even if you're just new to the game of credit and finances, it does not matter. What matters is that you start now to begin to analyze and take note, writing down what are your basic necessities. What are the things that you need in order to live, and how much money will it take for you to be comfortable doing so? So some of us will need to go back and think about, okay, well, what was I taught to do for income? What is it that I was taught to do to make money for myself to take care of me? And maybe you came along with a package deal. Maybe you had a kid or two or three, and that's absolutely all right. Maybe you never even had the opportunity to think about how much money it takes to take care of yourself. So let's go back and eliminate the shortcuts and the corners that we have taken to eliminate the proper process of how to take care of ourselves, how to take care of our finances, and how to get to the point where we have excellent credit. So it all starts with that root problem. So let's cut out the idea that we just gonna have any kind of a job. We're not gonna just have any kind of a job, and we're not gonna just focus on the fact that we need to be a business owner. That is a major shortcut problem where many of us are deceived, believing the lies that the world is trying to feed us, as far as believing that it matters about a certain type of way that we earn an income. If you're making money and you're making enough money to take care of yourself, let me tell you, you're doing good for yourself. So let's proceed from that place. But if you are not making enough money to care for yourself, how in the world can you position yourself to care for someone else? So let's begin there. We have to start with ourselves and then our families. So now that we have family members, how much will it take to sustain a stable income for not just yourself, but for your family? How many members of your family are you actually caring for and responsible for? And are you doing everything that you possibly can on the job that you have, in the business that you are working in? Or if you are an investor, are you making enough income to actually take care of yourself and all the members of the family that you are legally responsible for? And I say legally because sometimes we get it confused. We think that, I'm calling someone a family member that's not really a family member. Maybe I'm engaged in a relationship that is not necessarily a relationship where I'm supposed to be taking care of somebody else. But we want to understand that as it relates to credit, your reputation will be tainted when you decide to take on responsibility of someone else and you haven't even looked at your own needs with income so that you can sustain the things that you need as an extension of money that you don't have today, so that you can actually obtain credit from a lender or a creditor. So the lender or creditor's responsibility is to give you money, or their responsibility is to lend you, allow you to borrow money that you don't have enough of right now, for the things that you need and even the things that you want. But you can't get to the wants until after you get past the needs. So how much money does it really take for you to live? How much money does it really take for you to be able to sustain your lifestyle, the lifestyle that you want and the lifestyle that you need first? Okay, so how much money does that take? And are you doing everything that you possibly can to take care of yourself and the people who you are legally responsible for taking care of? Number three would be, then let's look at our community. Are you in the right community? Are you located in the right place in order for you to gain and excel well? Or do you need to maybe move away? Move away to a different place that's going to allow you to get a better income. And then don't forget about the people who you left in the neighborhood where you came from. Go back and give to them when you can. Position your life so that you never ever forget about those who started the foundation, that maybe they didn't have the same knowledge and understanding that you had. Maybe they also only believed in the shortcut because that's all that they knew. But if you have the opportunity to change and to do something different, my challenge to you today is that you would change your mindset around taking the shortcut of just doing any kind of work, any kind of job, any kind of business. My suggestion to you would be to change first the way that you think about handling the income. The second thing that I want you to think about is how do you manage the finances, the basic needs that you need in order for you to live? How do you handle that for your family? How much groceries do you get? How much do you take care of the light bill, the water bill? And that's why I mentioned that it's important for us to understand that maybe we need to change locations so that we can get a better income. Or maybe we just need to look at what are the things that we're good at so that we can get a different type of job, so that we can get a different type of business and work in a different field. It's nothing wrong with changing, but it's not set in stone that you have to be a business owner or that you have to have your own company and do all this solopreneur stuff. No, throw that out of the window. You can have a job and you can have a business as long as you are bringing in the money. You're bringing in the money so that you can focus on the fact that you are eventually going to get some credit because somebody is going to offer you a lot more money than what you have so that you can sustain a stable lifestyle. All right. So once we get to the point where we got the income down pat and we stop shortchanging ourselves, deciding that we can only work at this job, we can only work at this place, we can only be a business owner, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, especially if we're not making any money in business, that's a definite no for me. Okay. So that should be a no for you as well. But the thing is that when we get past that stage, the next thing that we're looking at is, do we know how many expenses that we actually need in order to live comfortably? How much groceries do you need? How many times do you need to add on a new item of clothing? How many times do you need to get your hair done? How many times do you need to add a new pair of shoes to the budget? Like, we gotta begin to stop taking shortcuts and just waiting until something just tears up completely before we decide that we're gonna look at the necessities of our finances. So we're looking at our finances and we want to make adjustments in the shortcut ways in which we have been trained possibly to believe that, oh, the only thing that I got to do is wait and hope and pray that this thing doesn't break down before I can afford to go buy another one. Like a car, for example. How long have you been driving the vehicle before the vehicle tears up and breaks down and now you can't even get to work to make the income? See, everything is a domino effect on the foundation that you have learned from the beginning. So the shortcuts don't work because if the car breaks down or the vehicle, the transportation, the communication breaks down, if whatever it is that is a basic necessity in order for you to live is not able to be maintained, then you cannot afford to have credit. Your credibility is going to be ruined. And then we get on further into the types of things that we do to take shortcuts with our credit. One of the things that we do is we say, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and charge this on my credit card now because we got a credit card. We had a bank or company that decided to lend us money for a credit card, which is considered to be revolving credit. And revolving credit is where you're supposed to pay it down and charge it back up. Pay it down and charge it back up. But you're never supposed to pay it all the way down to zero, and you're never ever supposed to go over 30% of what the creditor or lender gave you. Because every time you go over 30% of whatever the creditor or lender gave you, you're ruining the reputation again to take a shortcut to say that I can handle a large lump sum of money when you aren't even used to managing a small amount of money. You can't get to the large amount of money management until you accomplish and master the small amounts of money management. So if you are managing your credit cards, if you're managing a loan that a lender gave you, and you're saying, well, I'm just going to do the best that I can, and that if I get sick or if I have death in the family or there's a problem in a relationship or whatever the case may be that can cause you to get off course and unaligned with making your payments to that lender or creditor back, then what's going to happen is you're going to end up by taking that shortcut to fooling yourself to believe that, hey, I can pay this back real quick. As long as I borrow a lot of it right now, I can pay it back. But then when the emergency hits, then you end up in a situation where you took a shortcut, you decided to cut corners with one thing, but then it becomes a domino effect because now you can't get out of the hole. And see, that's why I'm saying to you, the shortcuts don't work. The shortcuts don't work. So never ever should you be trying to hurry up and pay your credit card back before the due date or the bill cycle date. Never should you be trying to hurry up and pay money back down when you should have just used the 30% in the first place. See, the goal with credit is you have to learn how to play the game. Once you learn how to play the game and you follow the instructions of the game, then you will always win with credit and with finances. But you can't win by taking the shortcut. The shortcut that some people take with credit cards is that they try to take a large amount of money from that credit card, maybe even almost max out the card and promise to pay the credit card back later or before the bill cycle date or before the due date in hopes that nobody's going to find out. But let me tell you, they're going to know. They are going to know. The credit card company is going to report the information and activity that you are utilizing on their statement. And that statement is then going to go to the credit bureaus, and then your credit score is going to drop over 50 points plus. Over 50 plus points, your credit score is going to drop. So don't try to play the shortcut game to hurry up and paying your credit card back because you need to borrow a large amount of money. If you need to borrow a large amount of money, what you have to do is strategize, making sure you put aside a few dollars every time you get paid until that money builds up. That is the proper strategy for emergencies. Credit cards are not there for emergency purposes. And let's talk about your loans. Let's say we decide that we're going to get a loan and our intentions may be great. We end up borrowing more money than what we can actually afford to pay back because we haven't really adjusted our income. What we did is just decide that, thank you, Lord, that you are giving me money. You're giving me extra money. It's not extra money if you got to pay it back. It is more debt that you got to pay back. So now you need to figure out a plan in which you're going to make extra money so you can pay back a loan. And this is why we get into the situations that we get into, because we think that the shortcut is going to allow us to eliminate the responsibilities of our finances and of our credit, and it never ever works. It never works. It never works, y'all. So let's get out of the mindset that we're going to get our tax money, we're going to get this extra money on a credit card, or we're going to borrow some more money and we can't even afford to pay back the money we've already borrowed. Let's get out of the shortcut mindsets and cutting corners where we know, and we absolutely know subconsciously, that there is no earthly way that this shortcut is going to work because we have not looked at the root of the problem, changing our mindset to understand that we really got to change jobs, we have to change businesses, or we have to change something that is going to allow us to make more money. So let's eliminate these shortcuts. Let's cut out the fake lying to ourselves. Let's cut out all of this foolishness, y'all. Let's do the right thing for a change. Let's begin to excel in our finances, in our credit. Every time we handle money, making sure that we're buying what we need and not what we want. Let's make sure that unless we're in the position to buy the things that we really want, let's make a sacrifice now. Because if you don't make the sacrifice now, I promise you are going to make the sacrifice later. Okay? I promise. It never ever fails. I've been doing this over 30 plus years, and it has been the same ever since I came into this industry. So just know that shortcuts don't work. When it relates to your finances, this is an area that you are going to eventually have to follow the rules if the things that you need and the things that you want are at hand or at stake. So, in order to live a successful financial and credit future, let's just follow the rules. And if you don't know how to follow the rules, I will teach you how to follow the rules. Get into our Financial Dominion Masterclass or get into our credit repair program. Either way, we can lead you into credit and financial success. That's right here at Kingdom Builders Credit Repair. Thank you guys for watching. We're at time, and we will see you next time, next Friday from 12:30 to 1 to give you more credit and financial tips. And please, let's get some notes in the comments below. Let's get a like, a share. Let's get a subscription to the Kingdom Builders Credit Repair TV show and podcast so that we will know that we are making a difference in your finances and in your credit. And this is being very helpful for your life. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next time. All right, everyone, take care. Bye-bye. Woo, woo, woo.